Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
This week we're discussing the record-breaking climbing performances that we've seen at the Tour de France. Is motor doping happening? And if it is, how could you do it?
We also have loads of hot tech to discuss, including 2 new bikes, neither of which claim to be lighter or faster than the previous version, a new helmet with something called a carbon wing, and there's news from Zwift, news from Strava, news from Team Uno X, and I've got one of the best looking cassettes I have ever seen. And my chair has got back to it, so I can now do this. Ah, that's brilliant.
So, main talking point, is motor doping happening at the Tour de France? And if it is, how could you do it?
No, it's not happening.
All right, that was quick.
Stick with it.
I mean, with the incredible performances that we've been seeing on the climbs, last Sunday on the Plateau de Bay, there's been a lot of speculation about that.
Yeah.
Because of cycling's past, people are having to defend.
It raises questions, doesn't it? Before we get onto the subject of motor doping, because I know you're itching to discuss it, I think we should mention the mind-blowing numbers that have been estimated and floating around online, because it's kind of crazy, right? So, quite a lot of the speculation has been around the 6.96 watts per kilogram marker for Pogacar on that final climb. What?
Yeah, that's like 485 watts based on what I weighed myself this morning as.
528 watts for me, that would be, for 40 minutes, which is absolutely mental. I can do that for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I've got it off my chest now. So back to motor doping.
Well, we previously did a tech show on the subject of motor doping, and it was very popular, and there was a lot of people commenting underneath that. And so we wanted to revisit the topic here. The first thing to point out is that we're not conspiracy theorists, and we've seen nothing to suggest in this year's race that there is any motor doping or technological fraud happening. But we do feel it's important to talk about it because we don't want to see it happen. If it were to happen, it would massively damage the sport. And so we feel it's important to actually shed light on something which is possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, the UCI are taking this very seriously and have openly acknowledged the threat of motors being used in the sport. Now, speaking on the Ghost in the Machine podcast, David Lepartien openly acknowledged this and said that the UCI is aware that motor doping is plausible and is not just a fantasy dreamt up by conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, I mean, Lepartien, for those who are unfamiliar, is the president of the UCI. And he's appointed this guy called Nick Rudensky, who is a former special agent of Homeland Security. You've got an impressive CV.
That is an impressive CV.
And his job at the UCI is to investigate technological fraud, both past and present.
So Rudensky believes that if there is a way to cheat, humans are naturally going to almost gravitate towards it. And that can be applied to all sorts of different walks of life. Say, speeding tickets. Speeding tickets, I don't know, cheating, any kind of system.
Or when you're playing Monopoly at home with your family.
Yeah. I mean, I think that can be allowed at Christmas.
Bankers, the banking system.
Yeah. So if you were going to try to cheat, what is it that... what is it we're talking about? I don't understand.
Well, one of the areas in which ways you potentially cheat, and this has been highlighted, and the UCI is aware of this, looking into it, is the sort of fairly frequent bike changes and wheel changes that we've observed in races.
So at the Tour de France, all riders have got at least 3 road bikes and at least 2 time trial bikes and a host of different wheels. That means that throughout the stages, they can switch bikes if there's, say, a mechanical problem or a crash, for instance. But at the moment, only 1 bike at most per rider is scanned. So that means if a rider was to change their bike partway through a stage, there's potential for it to go unscanned.
And avoid detection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking to the Ghost in the Machine podcast, Lepartien said that the bikes tested at the end of a stage need to be the bikes that were used in that stage.
Yeah.
And at the moment, he does acknowledge that this is not 100% secure, and there are gaps that riders could potentially exploit.
Okay, right. So say you are using a motor hidden away in your bike, and it's going to your bike gets scanned. Will they definitely find the motor?
Well, this is the other thing. So Lepartien has criticised the iPad scanners that we've seen and said that they are, quite ineffective. And he's done that more than once. And so he thinks that they're ineffective at detecting more modern motors. So they were used to find the original Femke motor in the cyclocross, but motors have advanced that's 10 years ago. And things like brushless motors that don't use magnets, they're not great at detecting these things, and you can avoid the detection.
So this is with the iPad scanner, right?
They do also have X-ray scanners, but these are like big, right? And they can't physically scan as many bikes with these. They're far more effective, but they're just not practical for testing lots of bikes at finish. But they do have a new detection system.
I already know the name of this, so I'm excited to hear you say it.
It's called a backscatter detector.
Right, come on, tell us about this. How does this work?
Well, I've not seen it, but apparently it's like a mobile like X-ray gun thing that you can point and then in real time see through an object, and it will show what's inside a carbon frame or a carbon wheel and show you if there's different density components in there and metal components.
I mean, that is actually some pretty cool tech. It sounds like the sort of thing Batman would have. So at present,
so if there was a hidden object inside a motor or frame, it would detect it.
So in theory, I'm saying theory here. So if you are going to cheat, does this mean the most important thing to make sure that happens is that your bike is not scanned? Like, you need to go on that basis.
I think that's the conclusion. I think that's the conclusion that we can draw. But at present, not every bike is scanned, even at the finish of a race. But if you are the leader or the stage winner of that race, it's much more likely that your bike is going to get scanned, which makes you think you've got kind of like two options here. Like, either you're the leader of the race, you're like, and you choose to use a motor earlier on in the stage to just like save some energy on one of the earlier climbs or something, and then swap it out so you've got a bit more energy for the finish. Or, maybe you're a domestique. A lot of the domestiques aren't getting their bikes checked. And
they're doing some superhuman performances as well.
But maybe you're just trying to make time cut, So there are other people who could benefit.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff. I think the thing that jumps out to me, right, is that it feels like for this to be plausible, there has got to be a lot of different people involved. And as soon as you start involving lots of different people, I feel like you branch this thing out kind of too broadly, and there's almost like more possible weak links in the chain for this to go wrong, if that makes sense.
And it is important to point out, you don't need to scan every single bike to make the disincentive of being caught great enough.
Yeah.
It
just needs to be there.
You just need to have the threat that your bike will be scanned. But at the moment, that doesn't feel strong enough.
That's the same with anti-doping, right? Every single rider has anti-doping at every single stage.
Yeah. Well, I spoke to Lloydie about this. And because he had some, made some really good points.
Yeah.
And he was agreeing on what you're saying. Too many people would have to know about this and be in on it. So he said, it's impossible for a rider to do this by themselves.
Yeah.
And then you've got to have a mechanic that's helping them. But then it would raise too much suspicion if there was just one mechanic helping them with a special bike that the other mechanics weren't allowed.
They're like, don't touch this bike, don't touch that one.
Yeah. It feels like, so then you've got to involve all of the other mechanics in on the conspiracy as well. And it just feels like it becomes too big and too complicated, because then you've also got the person that's made the motor, or the company that's made the motor, then they're implicated in it, and it becomes a lot of money to keep a lot of people quiet, and it just feels like for a team it's too big a risk, because and Dan rightly points out, like, if a team got caught doping with this method,
it'll be the end of everyone and everything.
All their sponsors gone. That's the end of the team. And it's just a massive risk, and that's a big, disincentive, really.
So what we're trying to say in conclusion, if you wanted to motor dope, there's the possibility that you maybe could, but it's just a possibility, right?
I'd say if you really, really, really wanted to do it, it is possible. I think the technology's there, and you could swap it out in a mid-stage and use it for a portion of the stage, and then get the bike on the back of the car again.
Can I be clear that I don't believe any of this is happening? Because I'm like torn between two things here, because I find the idea and the tech behind this kind of like fascinating, right? But I also think it's kind of almost ridiculous to suggest that it could ever be a thing. So I just don't think the two things go well together. I like the tech, but away from like the racing element. And I don't necessarily want to feel like I'm trying to associate the two. I just find it interesting.
Yeah, I agree. In conclusion, I feel while it is possible to do it, it's 2 Ocean's 11 to actually do it.
Yeah.
Like, it would be like, it'd make a great film if someone pulled it off like a heist. But like, I just think there's just too many moving parts and it's too complicated. And if you want to cheat, there are probably simpler ways to cheat.
Yeah. All right, well, I feel like that summed up our thoughts on it. And please share your thoughts in the comment section down below, because I know this is going to like fire up a lot of people to get panic typing around their keyboards. It's going to be great. As always, best comments, we'll pick them out next week.
It's time now for Hot Tech. There's a lot this week.
There is.
Starting with it. Rally Chopper.
Yeah, there's a brand new Rally Chopper. Well, it's back at least for a short period of time. I was planning to mention this a couple of weeks ago, but if I'm honest, I wasn't here and then I totally forgot. Anyway, the Chopper has been relaunched, and for the second time actually, a couple of weeks ago. 2 new colourways. Let me get this right. Fizzy Lemon and Space Blue.
Rate it.
Yeah. Now, I actually went to look on the website because they're launched in limited numbers, and apparently an IT failure has caused the website to go down. Basically, I think too many people tried to buy one at once. So temporarily they're unavailable, but if it's your thing, you need to keep checking.
I once met a guy who did, and he successfully got the hour record riding a Rally Chopper in like a Roger Moore style safari suit.
It feels like the sort of hour record Hank would be up for.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get Hank on the Rally Chopper.
Yeah. Hour record on
hour
Rally
record.
Chopper, yeah.
Anyway, pretty iconic bike. Next, we've got some news from Zwift. So Zwift Academy is back and continuing for another year, trying to find 2 undiscovered talents, both one male and female, and it's possibly the most innovative talent ID process that is out there, right?
Yeah, and I think I'm surprised that that more people who are aspiring pros don't just try and do this, because it can complement what you're doing anyway, and it's like.
I think it's a really good system. If you're trying to break into the racing world, why would you not try to use something like this, which is clearly laid out to gather talent and direct it in the right direction?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And so there's loads of stuff online that you can actually get involved with, even if you aren't quite at pro level. So people like you and I could get involved with this stuff. Loads of challenges and races to do. So in addition to the 6 workouts, there's also 2 races that make up the 8 compulsory activities that you'll need to complete in order to make you eligible for consideration. Runs August the 5th to November the 3rd. Also, talking of Zwift stuff, have you managed to do any of the Tour de France climb portals yet?
I've not, but I want to.
Yeah, I've done a couple.
Well, I have done a few, not recently in the Tour, but I did Aspen when it was up.
Yeah, I did one yesterday in my lunch break, and it was absolutely horrific. But good challenge to get done. Right, next up, POC released a new helmet. It's called the Cytal Carbon,
and this has been spotted at it's sort of officially announced at the rest day at the Tour de France on Monday, but. It's been on display by all of the EF Education Easy Post riders in the race. Ben Healy giving it a very good showing in the breakaway, like every day.
Yeah, it's something hard to spot. Yeah. I saw it on Ben Healy's head because he's got like a slightly head tilted bobbing style. Makes it really obvious that the helmet's new. Right, so POC are saying that they've established a new benchmark in high-performance helmets. The Cytal Carbon pioneers a new approach to safety, aerodynamics and ventilation, thanks in part to the inclusion of an advanced handmade carbon wing.
Cool.
I do think it's actually pretty cool. One thing that I want to pick out, lots of different helmets have like special slots that are designed to put your glasses in. POC are calling it the eye garage.
Oh, I think
I've never heard that before.
No, that's not new. No.
That's past me by.
Giro originally called it the eye garage.
Eye garage.
Eye garage.
Yeah. Right, 250 grams for a size medium, priced at $400 US, £360, 400 euros. There you go. Now, talking of big French bike ride, you've seen that helmet. We actually have some new big French bike ride inspired T-shirts. Nice. Nice edition.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Stand up tall, show it off, be proud.
C'est magnifique. Nous avons un nouveau t-shirt pour célébrer la grande sortie de Velo à France.
That's exactly what I thought, actually. I would completely agree with everything you just said. So if you like the look of the t-shirt, Well, we've got them available at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. You might have said that in French already, I just didn't know what you said.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. I want to talk about bling cassettes next, because I feel like everyone by now...
You just love bling stuff on your bike. I prefer like a bit more...
Yeah, I want to say I feel like everyone now realises I'm effectively like a human magpie that's just attracted to shiny objects.
Yeah.
I've actually got one of these on my bike at home. It's a Recon one-piece cassette, really nicely machined out of one piece, obviously. There's a couple of different options. There's a chromo version, an aluminium version, and they also make a titanium one as well.
Yeah,
get this.
And you're gonna dip it, aren't you, and make it...
I've already got the like iridescent multicoloured one.
Of course you do.
I do, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool, because wait till I tell you the next things about it. Lighter than Dura Ace, priced pretty much the same, and it's got a neat design, which means it can fit onto a Shimano free hub or a SRAM free hub. You don't have to choose a different cassette.
That is pretty cool.
That is actually pretty cool. About $250, $270 US. So it is pretty pricey.
Cheaper than Dura Ace then.
They do an aluminium version, which is like super, super light. It's almost like just over 100 grams per cassette.
Softer.
But soft. So I would kind of quite like to see how long that lasts, but a bit scared because it's expensive. And if it doesn't last long, you'd be a bit disappointed.
And next up, in Hot Tech, we've got some new bikes.
Yeah.
Starting with the Orbea Kemen, which is a city bike.
Well, there's actually two versions. You've got the Kemen Tour and the Kemen Adventure.
Look very smart.
And then within that, you've actually got the options of like a mid sort of low sloping top tube and a more normal type top tube. Each of these bikes is looking pretty cool. Orbea are saying the Kemen Tour is the new, comfortable, versatile urban e-bike, perfect for inside and outside of the city limits. And then you've got the Kemen Adventure, which I feel like we can see where this is going, is the new trekking e-bike, fully equipped, fully loaded for all possibilities, designed to perform in the countryside and in the city.
Yeah. Lots of good sort of design features on them, integrated lights, mud guards that are removable, but like dedicated ones for it, designed for the bike. Also 630 watt-hour e-bike motor in there as well. Incredible knowledge there. Yeah. Do you know what, this is the sort of bike that you actually need for your commutes to GCN Megabase. It would be good, yeah. Currently, Ollie rides... Aluminium frames as well. Oh, aluminium frames, robust. Currently, Ollie either rides his time trial bike or a Pinarello Dogma F. And basically, it's a 10-minute commute that you do in normal clothes with a rucksack on. It's like commuting with a Ferrari. You are the epitome of commuting with a Ferrari. My daily driver. Your daily driver is a Pinarello Dogma F. Yeah. That's embarrassing. And not if it's wet, though. I wouldn't do it in the rain. Oh, yeah, that would be ludicrous. Yeah. What do you do if it's raining? Use the time trial bike? Yeah. Right, back to some more sensible stuff. So, Team Uno X have just announced that at the end of 2024, they're partnering up with Ridley Bikes. So for 2025, for a whopping 10 years. Big commitment, that. That is a massive commitment. It's good, though, because it locks in key sponsor for that team, gives the team some good security. So, yeah. It is cool. Good security, both the men's and the women's teams, which means the agreement with Dare Bikes they're currently riding is going to come to an end at end of 2024. Yeah. I think it's good for like security, like you say, but also... I kind of feel like slightly sad that we might potentially not see Dare Bikes in the World Tour. Yeah, well, I think they've done well out of the sponsorship, and this year, like, they've clearly, you know, they're looking amazing in the Tour, in the break every day, like Abrahamson, so... They've got their money's worth just from Abrahamson. I think so, yeah. Right, and then finally in Hot Tech, Strava has launched the family plan. Right. Okay, so get this. Which means if you use it to its full potential... It means that the cost of Strava Premium is effectively half price. It means you've got one payment, one subscription, and it can be applied to 4 people. And you can share it with your friends and all your mates. You don't actually have to keep it within the family, which is pretty cool, right? Subscribers on a family plan pay £99.99 for a year. That's for 4 people? For up to 4 people. So it's basically... less than half the price of a normal... Yeah, just under half price. Yeah. There's only one problem I'm seeing here, though. One person's got to pay for it. You've got to just draw the short straw between your mates and decide who pays. It's not me, because I already pay for the Netflix. It's not me, because I'm not paying. Right, anyway, you can argue amongst that with your friends anyway. Because it's now time for Comments of the Week. First comment is from Paljas von Penguin, who was commenting under last week's show where we were talking about secret tech that the pros were using at the Tour de France. And we asked people to point out things that we'd missed. He said Cavendish is wearing Nike branded shoes. Yeah, he's been doing that. He's in for a very long time.
For ages.
At least 10 years, I think.
Going to say it's not secret, really. 10 years.
No. The secret is that you can't buy them. They're just for him, but they're made for him by DMT. I've seen them.
I didn't know that, but I was going to guess that.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is from James Lee Pevenhall 5087. They say Tom Simpson had frames built by Massey. Eddie Merckx had frames built by De Rosa. Karl-Heinz Kund had frames built by Bernard Carr. Carl's bikes had Camper gears, and all the others were using Simplex. All three rode for the rode Peugeot with Peugeot decals on the frames.
Yeah.
They were win on Sunday, sell on Monday. I like that idea.
Yeah. but what he's making the point out there is that going non-sponsor with equipment is not a new thing. It's been going on a long time.
Yeah.
It's just now the difference is it's harder to hide it because there's so many more cameras everywhere.
And there's people like us that make videos specifically highlighting it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Pete Dannant says, also from the last week's show, Ollie, why are you promoting the UCI on the back of your laptop? Thought you were a no jurisdiction here, man. Well...
Are you promoting the UCI on the back of your laptop?
You need to look closer, because it actually says, UCI, you have no jurisdiction here. So there you go.
Oh.
Except if I do a UCI event, in which case they do.
You will definitely abide by the rules.
Yes.
Because you're not a rule breaker. Right, underneath the Eurobike bonus video that I did, so this was our, I want to say 4th Eurobike video. We got quite a lot of content from that.
From Laszlo.
Effectively, everything combined into one. Laszlo says, I find that this year most guys didn't cover much, only managed to get 2 rushed uploads and then went home. You, however, have gone much further. Must be that special GCN energy gel you're using. Well done. Now head home before the missus clamps your wheels. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah. Well, it was good, yeah.
I did make that
I like that comment.
Made that rubbish joke at the start.
I know, yeah. Well, also, Exardus von Lorien said, thanks, Chloe, for allowing this.
Yeah, cheers, Chloe.
And Boy638 says, rumour has it, he's still at the show floor.
No, I've made it home. I'm back. I'm here. This is AI. It's AI Alex.
Yeah.
Boy638 is back again with another comment.
Oh, yeah. He asked, how does GCN decide which host to send to events like Eurobike?
We just do rock, paper, scissors for it, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors.
Well, it's just kind of it changes really. Like, it's actually, I think, the first time in about 9 years I've not been to Eurobike.
So tell people the actual reason why I went to Eurobike and why
Go on then.
Well, basically, we were trying to decide who was going to the Tour de France and who was going to Eurobike.
You didn't want to go to the Tour de France.
And I said, I don't want to go to the Tour de France.
So I went to the Tour de France.
So Ollie went to the Tour de France.
Yeah, and you went to Eurobike. There you go.
People won't believe that was how it was, but it was.
Yeah, because they kind of like fell at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was like one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, it's now time for the bike vault, and I'm going to kick off the bike vault with my new Orbea Orca. You didn't know I put this in here, did you?
No.
Take a look at that. Take a look at that bad boy.
Why is the seat post so high? It's Connor been riding it.
Don't try and mock me.
There's a lot of brown going on there.
Right, okay.
Also, with the green background and the brown, you're like trying to make the bike invisible to me and my colour blindness.
Okay, right, hear me out first. Orbea sent me this bike a few weeks back. I've not actually had the chance to show everyone that, so here it is. And I'm currently in the process of tricking this bike out.
And trying to find every shade of brown possible.
No! This is still the brown saddle that everyone mocks me for having on different bikes. I've got one brown saddle and I keep putting it on different bikes.
I mean, it's nice, but it'd be nice if it was all the same shade of brown. It's the way that it's all just different shades of brown. It's just a bit weird.
We can brush past that to look at the other things. Like, we've got minimal accessories, valves aligned, cranks aligned.
Not a shadow stand.
Pedals aligned.
Not a shadow stand.
Couldn't find a shadow stand. They're too well hidden. Also, as I said, I'm in the process of tricking this out. And at the moment... Where are you going? Oh.
No excuse. No excuse.
Thanks.
You're supposed to lead by example, Alex. This is...
Well, I am. Look at it. It's what, like, otherwise it's good.
How come you haven't put some hearing aid brown bar tape on? Just to get all the browns in.
I was going to put brown bar tape on because I changed the handlebars around yesterday. Some 36cm MV Aero boys.
Nice.
There they are. Look, that's how narrow it is. Just nice, is it?
Yeah.
Super nice.
Unbelievable.
Right, go on. First up this week, what have we got actually? It's from High PSI, Low Cadence, with a Retro E.
It's a look. Yeah, it's very nice.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go super nice on that.
Yeah, I'm super nice on that for sure. Love that.
Kai the bike guy is next.
I don't know what this is. It's been custom painted, that's for sure.
I don't know what that is either.
This actually highlights a good point here, is that if you are running one by, I don't feel like you should go biggie smalls.
For the photo, yes.
I think one by needs to be biggie middle.
Are they Silka titanium cages?
I cannot tell. No, I don't think they are, but they do look cool.
Yeah, it is very. I think that's. I just don't like it against that post.
Yeah, that's actually quite triggering.
Yeah, not good.
Nice.
If it was not on the post, super nice. Chuengo is next with a Bianchi Ultra. What do you make of that?
What do I make of it? I like it. 105 groups of other people. Valves aligned. They've tried to get blue valve caps as well to match up the colour of their bike. Mountain bike pedals on a road bike. Kind of acceptable, to be honest, if you want dual-sided, easy.
It's a naff background, but I think we can super nice that one.
Won't argue with that.
Yeah.
Next up is Marcus Allison with a Ribble jaunty angle, really, really small little mudguard on the back. Yeah. It's not stopping any spray going on your mate's face.
That's a very selfish mudguard.
That's a selfish mudguard.
You're running there.
I like the bike though. Shame I don't like the placement of the head unit, I must say.
It's unconventional, but if it works for him.
It works. I think I'm just going to be nice on this.
It's a great photo. It's great light. Look at the striations popping through the clouds. I think I'm going to go nice.
Yeah.
Just because of the sort of jaunty angle, really.
And a stick. Should have used a shadow stand. I always have one handy.
Yeah, it's a cool bike though. That I really like it.
Yeah,
Brendan W.
Oh right, I've put a comment in with this because they've uploaded their bike into the Bike Vault before, and we said they need to come back and try better and do a better job. So have they done a better job?
They have done a better job. That wall is that fence is looking smart. And it needs a bit of weeding, I think, down on your crazy paving. But the bike is looking smart.
It's well presented.
Do you know what I would suggest though is swap out those tyres.
Yeah. Well,
it's just they're just really slow, aren't they?
Okay, yeah. Maybe
The best upgrade that you could make to that bike is to put some
racy tyres on it.
Faster tyres on it.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's like slightly conflicting when you're
running an oversized pulley wheel system and deep wheels, and then you've got really, really slow tyres. It's super nice.
Super nice for sure.
But change the tyres.
Tyre upgrade next. There you go. That's your first one. And that was it for the Bike Roll this week, which means the tech show is drawing to a close. Ollie, it's been fantastic being back. Another good week. And please do get involved in the comments section down below. I can't wait to read these out.
That's going to be good.
Right, see you later.